Hi guys, it's Jess and welcome back or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever it is in the world for you. I hope you are having a good day. It is vlog number 6, I think, of my Monstrous Monday series, my spooky series. We are not that far away from Halloween now. We must be like, what, 4 weeks away? I'm very excited and we're going to be reading a very good spooky book, I hope, in this vlog. So without further ado, we're just going to roll the titles, and just a heads up, if you are affected by flashing imagery, you might want to skip ahead. I'll leave the timestamp down here. But yeah, roll the titles. Alright, so I am going to be reading a book by an author whose name I have been struggling to pronounce correctly ever since I picked it up. I've been looking at YouTube just to see how he pronounces it, and he does say in his video that he's probably the only person who can pronounce his name. So yeah, but anyway, I'm going to be reading Let the Right One In. This is by John Ajvide Lindqvist. I think that's the best pronunciation you're going to get out of me. I'm really sorry. But he is a Swedish author, I believe, and this is a vampire story. We are going back to my roots. I used to read a fuck ton of vampire themed books when I was younger, and I still love vampire themed books. Dracula is my favourite book ever. We know this. Or maybe you don't if you're new here. Hello, I love Dracula. But yes, I'm very excited to be delving into a vampiric novel. I believe this is a film as well, and I haven't seen it. But again, this is something that I could do at the end of this vlog. I could watch the film and see how the two compare. But I'm very interested in this book because it just sounds very creepy. It sounds like it's going to have a really good atmosphere, and the plot sounds really cool as well. I believe it is set in Sweden, and we are following Oscar. Oscar is a 12-year-old boy living with his mother on a housing estate. He dreams about his absent father, gets bullied at school, and wets himself when he's frightened. Eli is the young girl who moves in next door. She doesn't go to school and never leaves the flat by day. She is a 200-year-old vampire, forever frozen in childhood and condemned to live on a diet of fresh blood. In very different ways, they were both victims, which is why, against the odds, they became friends, and how they came to depend on one another for life itself. A terrifying and supernatural story, yet also a moving account of friendship and salvation. I'm really intrigued. I love this idea of a human and vampire becoming friends. Hopefully it's got some scary elements in it as well. Hopefully there is a bit of horror, a bit of blood, a bit of murder. You know, I'm hoping for all of that because this is what I'm aiming for with this series. But yeah, this is a book that has piqued my interest for quite a while. And I've just seen actually the epilogue finishes on Friday the 13th, which is always a good sign. We love a bit of Friday the 13th around here. It's a very chunky book. It's like 520 pages, but also it's very floppy. I love a good floppy book. And yeah, I don't really know what my initial thoughts of this are. I just know that I'm interested. I've heard great things about it. I've heard really good things about this author in general. He writes a lot of horror kind of stuff, supernatural stuff. And I've heard he's very popular over in Sweden. I think he's Swedish. He's Sweden's answer to Stephen King, apparently, it says here. So I'd be interested. It's funny how pretty much every horror author gets compared to Stephen King. Every book that I've read so far that has this kind of supernatural horror element to it has had like Stephen King mentioned on the cover somewhere, usually saying move over Stephen King, this is the new Stephen King, like this says the new Stephen King. It's just kind of funny. But yeah, my plan for today is to get at least 50 pages of this done this morning. I'm at work at 12. I'm only at work till 5 o'clock, and then I have 8 glorious days off. So for the next 3 days, I can just focus on this and just read all day. I'm still dog sitting, still looking after Jazz and Ruby, so I do have to factor that into my schedule. But after today, once 5 o'clock hits, I'm a free woman for 8 days, and hopefully I can get a decent chunk of this done tonight, once I finish work. But yeah, I'm gonna go and read the first 50 or so pages now. It's currently 10 to 8 in the morning. I don't have to leave here till about 11:30, so I've got a good chunk of time to read some of this. And yeah, I'll let you know my thoughts on it once I've worked my way through some of it. I'm very excited. Hello everybody, I am back. It's been a couple of hours and I have read 42 pages of Let the Right One In, and I'm really invested in it already. It is so dark and twisted and just honestly not what I was expecting. The first 2 chapters were pretty wild and yeah, just not what I was expecting. But we are introduced to this boy called Oscar, and he's having a bit of a tough time. He's dealing with incontinence. Obviously, that's quite an embarrassing thing for somebody, especially a young child. And he's also being bullied at school, and I hate bullies so much, and I hate reading about bullies. But yeah, he's having a tough time at school and being bullied. And in the first chapter, when he's at home, he takes a kitchen knife and he goes out with it and he stabs one of the boys to death, one of the boys who has been bullying him. He just stabs him repeatedly. And honestly, I was not expecting that at all. This 12-year-old boy committing murder in the first chapter. It just totally blindsided me. But we are also introduced to another character who I think is called Hakan. I think it's Hakan. And we don't really know how he plays into it yet. We don't really know much about him. but he's a very mysterious character. I assume he's also a murderer because in the first chapter as well, he comes across a young boy, gasses the boy unconscious, and then ties him up. I assume he kills him. And yeah, like the boy is then found strung up to a tree, throat cut. And there's also this young girl that Oscar has been introduced to, which I assume is Eli, young vampire. But yeah, so much has happened in the first 2 chapters, and I'm very taken aback, and I'm really looking forward to delving into this a bit more and just finding out what the fuck is going on, because yeah, I wasn't expecting to be reading that straight away. But I love the atmosphere in this book. I love how brooding it is. I love how dark it is, you know, just dark and twisted, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm very excited to get back into it, but unfortunately I have to get ready for work now. I'm only working a 12-5, so a little lunch shift, and then after that, like I said at the start, I am off for 8 days, and I'm very excited because that means I can get back into this tonight. I think it's going to be the perfect read for tonight because we are predicted lots of rain and thunderstorms. We had a thunderstorm the other night actually, and it was wild. It was just so good. So I'd love to sit down and read this while it's stormy. But yeah, I need to go. I need to go and get ready and clock in and do all of that fun stuff, make some money. And yeah, I will talk to you guys in a little while. Okay, bye. Hello everybody and good morning. It's the next day and I've been working my way through some of this morning. I didn't read any of it last night after work because I was just very tired. But I'm off work now for 8 days, which I am super happy about. And yeah, I've been up since about 6:30 this morning and I've been working my way through some more of this. I have read about 92 pages so far and I'm about to start part 2. And I'm very fascinated by this book. It is very heavy. I wasn't expecting it to be as heavy as it was. The character of Hakan, who I mentioned earlier on, is very kind of fucked up. He's got paedophilic tendencies. So just be aware of that going into it. There are some scenes that kind of depict paedophilic behaviour. Not that anything happens as such, but there are scenes that portray something akin to that, which I wasn't expecting. Hakan was the murderer from the first chapter. I need to clear something up because I said yesterday as well that Oscar had murdered a boy who bullied him. Going back and reading that scene again, I realised that he actually didn't kill a boy. He went up to a tree and just slashed it several times with a knife, imagining that it was that boy. And I think I just missed the part where it said he imagined the tree was the boy, and I just kind of assumed it was the boy. It's very well written and it does mislead you. And I love that because it got me questioning myself when I read something a bit later on and I was like, wait, what? I swear he killed someone, but he actually didn't. So scrap that. It might be a spoiler. I don't know, but it happened in the first couple of chapters, so I'm going to say it's not a spoiler. But yeah, we've also been introduced to Eli, this young girl who is the 200-year-old vampire. That's not a spoiler. It says it on the back of the book. And she's very weird. We don't really know a lot about her at the minute. And we've discovered that Hakan is the guy that is like living with her, looking after her, I guess. But I assume there's more to their relationship than that. And I think it's gonna explain Harkin's pedophilic ways. Not that that's an excuse by any means, but I think it's gonna enlighten us and explain some of that. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it at the moment. I'm very intrigued. I want to know what's going on. It's very dark. I wasn't expecting it to be as dark as it was, but I'm here for it. I'm loving how fucked up it is so far. So, my plan for today, because I'm not at work, is to just read as much of this as I can. It is my boyfriend's birthday today. He's 29 and he's at work, bless him. He can't get his birthday off, but we are going to go out for some food later on tonight. So I doubt I'm going to get much reading done tonight because I'm going to be doing lots of drinking. But I'm going to try and read as much as I can this afternoon. And yeah, I'll share my thoughts on it with you as I go. I promise I'm going to do a bit more vlogging. It's kind of been lacking in that lately. I want to make this one really good. So anyway, let's stop talking and let's get reading. Part 2 is wild and I'm loving it so much. So much is happening in such a short space of time and it's just so much fun. I'm having such a great time reading it. I'm on page 149 and Hakan is up to his old tricks again. We're learning a little bit more about Eli and she's very interesting. All of the characters are very interesting. They're very captivating, like they just stand out on the page and I'm just so excited to find out more about them as the story goes. Like this is a 500 and something page book and we've got all of that left to go. And already I feel like I know so much about the characters. And already I feel like a lot has happened. I have a few theories of potential things that might happen as the plot progresses. The character of Johnny, the guy that is bullying Oscar, is really fucking annoying. I hate him so much. I just wish he would die. So fingers crossed. I mean, he's a kid. But I just can't stand bullies. And it's a shame that it wasn't Johnny when Oscar was killing him and stabbing that tree, because the stuff that this guy does, and his friends actually, the stuff that they do to Oscar is just horrible. I just want him to die. So hopefully he gets caught by the vampire. It's not explicitly said that Eli's the vampire yet, but we know she is. And she's very weird. She looks ill. She's very skinny. She doesn't eat. You know, all of the things are there. And I'm just really looking forward to Oscar finding out what she is. If he even does find out what she is. I'm not sure. But yeah, I just love the whole vibe of this book right now. It's just really dark. And I'm just having such a great time. Hopefully this isn't the end of certain characters because they're very interesting. I want to see more of them. I want to see some development. I want to see how they could potentially change or get worse. I've been outside for the last hour and a bit, I want to say. I've been out here for ages. It's meant to be raining, but it's actually really sunny right now. There is a bit of a breeze, but it's very warm. And I've got the, what's it called? Parasol? It's not a parasol. I don't know what it's called. The awning? I've got the awning out. Is it an awning? Got the sofa out. The dogs were sat out here with me, but they've gone in the kitchen now because the tiles are really cool and it's a bit too hot for them out here. And yeah, I'm just having a great time chilling in the garden. I don't have a garden in my own house, so it's nice to be somewhere where I can just sit outside and read. I've had a cup of tea, I've had some cookies, and yeah, it's about 2:30 now, and I'm hoping to get another 100 or so pages of this done before I have to go out later. But this book is really good so far. I moved into the conservatory and Jazzy is just peacefully sleeping beside me. She just looks so happy. I think I just heard thunder. It started to rain. I think it's going to be storming. And the prospect of that is very exciting. I love thunderstorms. It's funny because when I was younger, I used to be absolutely terrified of thunder. I hated it. I couldn't deal with it. But now, for like the last 10 years or so, I've just been very, very into them. I love them. My favourite kind of weather. And it's my favourite kind of weather. I don't know if you could hear it, but it's thundering. But yeah, it's my favourite kind of weather to read spooky books. So yeah, that's exciting. So I have just opened up my Lightning Strike app. And so I'm there, the little blue dot, and all these red dots here are lightning strikes. So there's definitely a storm on the way. It's the next day and it's still storming. Yeah, there are some rumbles of thunder happening every now and then. Right now it's raining and it is trying to storm outside, and I'm loving it. It's the perfect atmosphere for reading this book. I am at the 275 page mark. I didn't read any of it last night because we went out for food, but I've been reading some more of it today. I'm trying to get as much of this done as possible today because I want to start a new book tomorrow. But I am so freaking obsessed with this book right now. It is so fucking good. And I'm mostly interested in the character of Virginia right now. I don't think I've mentioned her at any point in the vlog, but there is this group of characters who are all friends and they're all connected to what's happening with Eli and everything in some capacity. But I'm very interested in Virginia. Her story has taken a very surprising twist, a very exciting twist, and I'm loving it, and I just want to see how she copes with what's happening to her. I'm just so captivated by the story. The pacing is kind of slowed down a bit now. Not much is happening at the moment. It's a lot more to do with the characters' lives. You know, we are introduced to Oscar's father. We're finding out a little bit more about Johnny, and I'm just really enjoying getting into the nitty-gritty of their minds, seeing what makes them tick, trying to figure out what is going to happen to them or how their stories are going to develop. I'm just so impressed with this book, and it does kind of remind me of something Stephen King would write. I know it's really hard to not compare horror books to Stephen King. Not that I've read many Stephen King books, I've only read 4 Stephen King books at the moment, but yeah, it just kind of reminds me of some of the Stephen King books that I've read, but I'm really, really enjoying it. It also takes place between the months of October and November so far. I think it will go a little bit further. I'm on part 3. I'm trying to get through to part 4 this afternoon. And I'm just so invested in this book. I'm so glad I picked it up because I'm having such a great time. I'm also loving that it's sticking to a lot of the true vampiric lore, for want of a better way to describe it. You know, it's very loyal to the traditional vampire, you know, all the tropes that I love. The vampire has to be invited into the house. The vampire can't go out in sunlight. The vampire has cold, pale skin. All of that. I love it when writers of vampiric novels stick to the traditional vampiric lore, because, you know, I'm a traditional kind of girl. But yeah, having a lot of fun with this. I want to try and finish it today. I have that much to go. I'm over halfway. I have about 250 pages to go, so I could probably finish it today if I properly knuckle down, but I keep getting distracted by the sound of thunder, also being distracted by the dogs because I'm still looking after them, and also distracted by the news because the Queen is ill and it's probably the end for the Queen, which is very sad. And yeah, I just keep looking for updates on that. So it's been a very distracting day, but I'm determined to knuckle down and finish some of this book. Can you hear the thunder, Jazzy? She is not bothered by it at all. She's such a chill dog. Hello everyone, and I am a massive idiot. I'm currently in the middle, or actually I'm coming up to the end of editing this vlog. Sorry, the lighting's really bad. Hold on. Let me readjust. There we go. That's better, right? But yes, I am coming up to the end of editing this vlog, and I realised that I have accidentally deleted the video file where I wrap everything up and talk about the book as a whole. So yay, well done, Jess. But yes, I finished this book a couple of weeks ago, and I can't remember what I said in that final wrap up, but I do know that I gave this book 4 stars. It might have been 4.5 stars. It wasn't a full 5 stars because the ending for me just wasn't great. It was alright, but it left me feeling very dissatisfied. I wanted more. I felt like it was very rushed through. And I also have a lot of questions still about Eli. We learned a lot about her, but then we also didn't learn a lot about her. She's so mysterious, and I feel like we needed more of her backstory to understand her. And I just have so many questions. I just feel a little bit confused by what's going on with her. I can't say why because I don't want to spoil it. But I have a lot of questions that were never answered. And that's always frustrating. But yeah, overall, I did really enjoy this. I liked the atmosphere. I thought it was very, brooding and mysterious, very dark. It's very graphic, and it doesn't shy away from depicting scenes that can be very triggering for some people. So do be warned that, this book is very heavy when it comes to certain topics, so you might want to check those out before reading it. But yeah, the characters were very interesting, very complex, very challenging, and leaves you with a lot of conflicting emotions, because some characters you do really like and then others you don't like so much, and your feelings about them are constantly changing, and I love that. I love being challenged like that. It's always fun. But yeah, really strong horror overall, and I do recommend it if you're looking for a vampire novel that's a bit different, something that's spooky, something that's violent, something that's gory. I know some people love that kind of stuff in horror. I know I do. It definitely did something for me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can remember about what I said. But yeah, a very brief wrap up. I'm sorry guys, I'm just, I try and be professional, but it just doesn't work. But anyway, that is it for this vlog. That was vlog number 6. And we only have 4 more to go. I'm very excited for you to see the next few vlogs. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss any of the vlogs. You can also hit the bell button so you will be notified every single time I do upload a new video. You can leave a cheeky thumbs up as well if you like this one, because it does always help my channel and I do really appreciate it. Also leave a comment down below, let me know if you've read the book, what you thought of it, whether you agree with me or not. And yeah, I'm going to wrap it up now, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video very soon. Bye, guys.